If you ever thought the British tabloids were going to stop obsessing over Meghan Sussex, let me gently, lovingly, and very realistically correct you right now, that was never going to happen. Because at this point, Meghan could be sitting quietly at home, drinking tea, folding laundry, helping her kids with homework, running her business calls in yoga pants, and donating to charity, and somehow, some way, the tabloids would still manage to spin it into a full-blown royal emergency. Breaking news. Meghan Sussex exists. Cue panic. Cue outrage. Cue a think piece. Cue an inside source. Cue the word dilemma being used incorrectly for the 500th time. And that brings us to today's latest tabloid drama, which honestly sounds less like journalism and more like badly written fan fiction for people who still haven't emotionally recovered from 2020. According to certain British tabloids, Meghan Sussex is now facing a so-called dilemma. Why? Because she has apparently been offered a multi-million-dollar deal to write a memoir about her time in the royal family, and allegedly this could somehow threaten her marriage to Prince Harry. Yes, you heard that right. A book, a pen, words on paper. Apparently powerful enough to destroy a marriage that has survived royal exile, international media harassment, lawsuits, security threats, institutional silence, and global scrutiny. Be serious. So today, we're going to break this story all the way down. We're going to laugh where it deserves laughing. We're going to call out the nonsense. And most importantly, we're going to talk about what this story really reveals, not about Meghan and Harry, but about the media's long-standing obsession with controlling Meghan Sussex's voice. And before we go any further, you already know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because over here we deal in facts, context, and common sense, not tabloid hysteria. Now, let's get into it. So, the source of this story, and this part is important, is Heat magazine. Let's pause, take a breath, and really let that sink in. Not a palace statement, not Meghan Sussex, not Prince Harry, not a verified publisher, not a named source with accountability. No, a tabloid, quoting an unnamed insider, the most reliable species in British journalism. According to this mystery source, Meghan has been approached with a lucrative offer, allegedly millions, to write a memoir about her royal experience after marrying Prince Harry. Now, notice what the angle isn't. It's not. Meghan reclaiming her story. Meghan speaking in her own voice. Meghan reflecting on an extraordinary life experience. Meghan contributing to historical record. Nope. The angle is immediately, this could put her marriage at risk. Because of course it could. Because according to the tabloids, Meghan Sussex cannot do anything without it being framed as manipulative, selfish, divisive, or destructive. She breathes, strategic, she smiles, calculated, she writes a book. Marriage-ending weapon. The predictability would be funny if it wasn't so exhausting. Let's be honest for a moment. Prince Harry already wrote Spare. He told his story, in detail, with vulnerability, with accountability, with emotional honesty. He spoke about grief, trauma, institutional failure, media cruelty, and the toll of growing up in a system that prioritizes optics over people. And what happened? The tabloids screamed. The critics melted down. The headlines exploded. But Spare was also one of the most successful memoirs in modern publishing history. Millions of people read it because, and this part matters, people recognized truth when they saw it. Harry wasn't perfect. He didn't claim to be. He didn't sanitize his story. He didn't pretend the system was harmless. And that's exactly why it resonated. So now ask yourself this. If Harry telling his story caused that much panic, what do you think terrifies the tabloids even more? Meghan Sussex telling hers. Because Meghan's story is the one they've spent years trying to write for her. She's been called everything except what she actually is: a human being. They've painted her as a villain, a manipulator, a social climber, a destroyer of tradition, a mastermind pulling Harry's strings, all without ever allowing her full, uninterrupted, unfiltered space to speak freely in her own words. A memoir would change that, and that's what scares them. Now, here's the funniest part of this whole situation. The tabloids want you to believe that Meghan is desperate to publish this memoir right now, and that Harry is somehow standing in the way, as if this couple hasn't spent nearly a decade making joint decisions under pressure most people can't even imagine. So the narrative becomes familiar. Meghan wants money. Meghan wants attention. Meghan is pushing Harry. Meghan is causing tension. Meghan is threatening the marriage. Same script, different headline. Because the tabloids always need Meghan to be the aggressor and Harry to be the passive victim. But reality tells a very different story. Harry and Meghan left the royal system together. They faced backlash together. They built a new life together. They protected their children together. They've stood united through lawsuits, documentaries, interviews, and relentless attacks. But we're supposed to believe a hypothetical book deal is the thing that finally breaks them. That's not journalism. That's wishful thinking disguised as concern. What this story is really about is control. The royal media ecosystem cannot stand when Harry and Meghan control their own narrative. They hated the Oprah interview. They hated the Netflix documentary. They hated Spare. Every time the Sussexes remind the world that they are autonomous adults, not royal property, the backlash intensifies. So now the tabloids float a new storyline. Meghan might write a memoir, but Harry doesn't want her to. Why? Because it creates division. It plants doubt. It feeds online speculation. Oh, look, they'll say, she's causing trouble again. It's deliberate, it's strategic, and frankly, it's tired. Let's be absolutely clear about something. Meghan Sussex has every right to tell her story. She entered one of the most scrutinized institutions on earth. She endured relentless racism, relentless sexism, relentless tabloid bullying. She survived an environment that many insiders have admitted is emotionally brutal, especially to women who don't conform. She does not owe anyone silence. And if she chooses to write a memoir one day, that is not an act of betrayal. It's an act of ownership. Other royals have spoken out. Princess Diana did. Prince Harry did. Royal aides leak daily. But when Meghan even breathes, she's accused of attacking the monarchy. The double standard isn't subtle. It's screaming. And then there's the money argument. Oh, she's doing it for millions, critics sneer. And? Is she not allowed to earn? Is storytelling only honourable when it's unpaid? Harry was financially cut off. They had to secure housing, security, a future for their children. Meanwhile, the monarchy sits on palaces, land, jewels, and taxpayer-funded privilege. But Meghan earning through publishing is suddenly immoral. That argument collapses instantly under its own hypocrisy. Here's what's actually happening. The tabloids are desperate. Meghan Sussex drives clicks. Her name trends. Her existence generates engagement. So they manufacture dilemmas. They invent tension. They imply urgency. All without a single direct quote from Meghan or Harry. That's how the game works. But here's the truth they don't want to admit. If Meghan ever writes a memoir, it won't destroy her marriage. It will destroy the myths. It will humanize her even more. It will expose what she endured. It will force people to confront how she was treated. And that's what critics fear, not for Harry, for themselves. So let me know what you think. Do you believe Meghan Sussex should write a memoir one day? Do you think the tabloids are once again stirring drama for clicks? Because honestly, Harry and Meghan living freely, happily, quietly, successfully is the one thing critics cannot stand. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to the channel. We don't let misinformation slide over here. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can buy me a coffee link on description. It helps keep this community strong and independent. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.